My great-grandma was raised in and living in Quebec, in which the Catholic Church had a very strong hold on the population. Upon having her third child, my great-grandma Lucille was told by her doctor that if she were to have another child, she would die due to complications with her body's size. At the same time, she was told by her church's priest that she wasn't allowed to stop growing her family, and that birth control was not an option. My question is, why does religion often intertwine with women's reproductive rights? This situation with my great-grandma occurred in the 1950s, which was long ago, but how much has really changed since then? In 1973, the right to abortion was legalized in the US and resulted from the Roe v. Wade court case because the Supreme Court realized that it was a religiously motivated law. Now, in 2022, the Supreme Court had decided to overturn this case, which has resulted in abortion now being illegal in 14 US states. There has been a semi-recent founding of crisis pregnancy centers, or CPCs, that come in the form of buildings and occasionally vans. These of which are run by anti-choice people, often affiliated with churches, that undoubtedly attempt to keep vulnerable pregnant women from aborting their fetus. This is a problem in the United States, but also in Canada. They offer free services such as ultrasounds, pregnancy tests, and counseling to discuss your options. These services would be great for offering support to pregnant women who were hoping to go through with their pregnancy, but that is not what the CPCs are here for. They can often be confused for centers such as Planned Parenthood or abortion clinics, especially as their names and descriptions of services can be deceiving. In British Columbia alone, there are 26 CPCs compared to 24 abortion clinics, so there is just over a 50% chance of a woman coming across the wrong resource while already being in a very tough and emotional situation. Following the question of why religion often intertwines with these issues, Quebec has 49 abortion clinics compared to 14 CPCs. This is one of my points, as in the 1970s, Quebec went through something known as the Quiet Revolution, in which the majority of the province began to secularize from the Catholic Church. Coincidentally, the 1970s were a time where protests for the legalization of abortion arose, and today there are far more abortion clinics than CPCs in this province. Throughout my research, it has had me asking what might be the driving force of an anti-choicer to get involved in someone else's decisions regarding their own body in the first place. Well, a counselor from an abortion clinic in Vancouver gave me incredible insight based on their professional experience and personal opinions.
The most vulnerable people are typically the minorities, so women, people who are ESL, don't speak English well, people of color, young people, like all of those people who don't hold power. It's easier to control them, and that's, it's easier to control somebody if you don't see them as fully human.
In this project, with the Performance Learning Program, I read The Handmaid's Tale written by Margaret Atwood. As many dystopian novels, Atwood used the aspects of a totalitarian theocratic regime to warn us of a modern social issue. This novel represents how any society gone astray, the women are most at risk, but why? In this world, unspecified ecological disasters have led most couples to become infertile, and this widespread infertility is blamed on women. The women who remain fertile become handmaids, in which their only purpose are to act as incubators to the commander and his wife.
Every hour on MSNBC sounded like a plot summary from The Handmaid's Tale. Theocracy rising! They'll be burning witches!
While in the Red Center, handmaids are being trained by essentially nuns that are known as aunts. One of the handmaids in particular speaks up about a time in which she was gang raped as a teenager and underwent an abortion. This was the reaction of the members of the center and other handmaids. Now, abortion was obviously illegal in this dystopian world, but a doctor who had performed an abortion, even prior to the takeover of Gilead, was sentenced to death. This appears to be a horrifying world to live in. However, this authoritarian world does provide a couple benefits in the form of security and extremely low crime rates beyond the obvious demean of women. Coming back to my question, why does religion often intertwine with women's reproductive rights? The truth is, religious people with authoritarian tendencies, like in The Handmaid's Tale, often look for a target to suppress, in which women are the easiest and most identifiable group. In 1985, Atwood used this novel's dystopian and theocratic world to warn us of a potential future in our Western society. Now, in 2022, especially in the US, we seem to be moving ever so closer to this reality. Let's all hope that Canada does not follow suit.
That'd be like The Handmaid's Tale. Theocracy!